about y'all, but I'm really on a roll with God, and if you stay close to Pastor, you're going to be on a roll with him too. In the book of John, chapter number 7, and verse number 24, we find the foundational text for today's message. And I'm going to ask you, would you please read it with me? Can we read it all together? Is that all right? Yes. I said, is that all right? Yes. All right, here we go. Let's read. Do not judge according to sight, but judge righteous judgment. Translation. Don't judge according to the flesh. Judge according to the Spirit. Church, I'm teaching today from the life-building, life-blessing, life-changing message. And the message today that you can put in your journals that every member of the church should have so that you can keep up with the messages and reflect back on your notes. It is entitled, Seeing Things Correctly. Seeing Things Correctly. Can you all shout that out with me?
Seeing things correctly.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Well, I have a central thought that I want to share with you, and then everything that I'm going to talk to you about today is going to revolve around that central thought, because I want to make things really clear and simple. I want you leaving here today really understanding what the Spirit of God wanted you to receive today through this pastor. And here's the central thought. Thinking or seeing correctly means seeing things as God sees them. Seeing things as God says about them. I will repeat it. Thinking correctly or seeing correctly is when you see things as God sees them, or as God says about them. And that's a very important statement. If you think about it, if you don't see things the way that God sees them, what's the alternative? You're seeing things the way that you see them, or the way that others see them. How many of you know some other people can tell you how to see things? Amen? You know, you got politicians that will tell you, that's not what you see. Oh no, that's not really what's going on. You ever had somebody try to tell you that's not what's going on? What you see, no, that's not really what's going on. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. They ain't starving and dying in Puerto Rico. Everything's fine. So seeing correctly is seeing things as God sees them, seeing things as God says about them. Say amen, please. Amen. All right. First point of the day. The first point of the day. If you're going to be successful in God, you must see yourself as God sees you. Now, this right here is a simple statement, but it can take you a long time to get it. I could literally preach this for the rest of my ministry here on the earth because it's so important. If you can start seeing yourself the way God sees you, your life will never be the same. And I stopped by here today to help us out because faith comes by hearing. So I want us to hear this. I've talked about this before, but I want us to see it in a new way. You must see yourself as God sees you. So the question today is, how do you see yourself?
Amen.
How do you see yourself? Amen. Why don't you do me a favor? Turn your neighbor and ask him that. Just stay with me. Don't try not to get ahead. Just let me walk you down on this media department, okay? Stay with me. Don't get ahead of me. Don't get behind me. All right, here we go. So, how do you see yourself? Turn your neighbor and ask him, how do you see yourself? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question, huh? That's a really good question. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself the way you see in the natural? Do you see yourself the way people see you? That's a damning thing when you see yourself the way people see you up. People got all kind of names for you and everything else. You got to be careful. The only way to see yourself is to see yourself the way God sees you. Because your mama could see you the wrong way. Your daddy could see you the wrong way. Somebody from another race could see you the wrong way. Somebody with a different income can see you the wrong way. Somebody who lives up on the hill can see you the wrong way. But the question is, none of that matters. How does God see you? And then, do you see yourself the way God sees you? Are y'all with me? Yes. So now let's break this down a little further. Let's go a little, it's kind of like when you get in the pool and you start out with those steps and you get in the pool and you're on the shallow side, then you start working your way down to what? The deep water. Somebody said, let's go a little deeper. Right. Do you see yourself weak, unqualified, and unworthy? Now this is a very important question, because the truth of the matter is, before Christ or outside of Christ, you are weak, unqualified, and unworthy. That's the truth. Outside of Christ, you are weak, unqualified, and unworthy. But I stopped by to let you know that that's not how the Lord sees you. And if you're in relationship with you, he doesn't see you as weak, unqualified, and unworthy. He sees you as strong, qualified, and worthy. Say amen. Amen. Now, it's understandable when somebody who is out of fellowship with the Lord sees themselves as weak, unqualified, and unworthy. But what a terrible, regrettable thing when you are in Christ and you're in relationship with God to see yourself as weak, unqualified, and unworthy. That's a bad thing. You say, Pastor, oh no, Christians don't see themselves like that. Oh yes, they do. You know why I know? You said, give me a chapter and verse. It's What My Ears Hear, chapter 1, verse 1. In other words, I be listening. And I'm going to tell you right now, I hear people say things like, well, the Lord blessed me even though I wasn't deserving. Who said you weren't deserving? Wait a minute, who said you weren't deserving? Are you a child of God? Yes. I said, are you a child of God? Yes. Well, I don't ever go around to my children and talk about, now, this meatloaf and mashed potatoes, I wouldn't give it to you, but I don't know if you're deserving. It ain't like, Daddy, look, I'm ready to eat. You understand what I'm saying? We never went around to our children at dinner time and say, now, who's deserving? Who's deserving around here? They're my children, and it delights me to feed them. Guess what? God is your Father, and you are deserving. You better say that. You better know that. You better say that. You are deserving. In fact, if there's anybody who's deserving, you deserve it. I said, if there's anybody who's, stop that, right? Don't ever let that come out of your mouth anymore. Well, I don't know if I deserve this. See, that's the enemy. That's the enemy. Well, you know what I did? Yeah, that's under the blood. You know what I did before Christ? That's under the blood. Oh, yeah, but you know what? Even after Christ, I slipped up. I cut somebody out last night. Guess what? You can put that under the blood too, because he died for all your sins, past, present, and future. You're still, listen, you being deserving is not based on who you are. It's based on whose you are. Come on, somebody. It's based on whose you are. Yeah, you being deserving is not based on what you did or didn't do. It's based on your relationship with the Lord. He's already paid. Now you can't walk around. Don't get me twisted now. You can't walk around abusing this. You can't walk around taking advantage of the grace of God. Okay? But I want you to understand. I want you to think about this one thought for one moment. You're not going to heaven because of what you did. You didn't get saved because of what you did, and therefore you can't get unsaved because of what you did. Do I need to say that again for somebody? I said you didn't get saved because of what you did or didn't do, and you can't get unsaved based on what you did or didn't do. If you believe in what Jesus did on that cross, and when he said it's finished, and you fully received it, even if you mess up and you sin, you fess up, you turn in another direction, but it does not unsave you. You don't lose your salvation. So what you need to understand is you are deserving. You are in the will. You are in the inheritance package. You are a child of God. And guess what? You need to see it like God said. You need to see it like God said. So I want to just give us a couple of things today that would remind us. I said, do you see yourself as weak, unqualified, and unworthy? I want to give us an example today of a young man in the Old Testament who saw himself as weak, unqualified, and unworthy. And his name was Gideon. His name was Gideon. He saw himself as weak, unqualified, and unworthy. That's how he saw himself. But see, like I told you, the problem was he kind of either didn't have the revelation or he forgot not who he was, he forgot whose he was. See, because when God first picked a people, he picked up people through a man named Abraham. He told Abraham to be the father of a nation. And that nation we know of now is Israel. And this man, Gideon, like a whole lot of the people of the Old Testament, they were basically sons of Abraham. So the blessing and the grace and the favor that God put on Abraham, it ran down through his descendants. And Gideon was one of his descendants. Amen, somebody. Somewhere along the way, some situations happened. Well, the people got out of the favor of God because of sin, and they didn't repent, and, God let the enemy come in and basically take their land. When you don't do right by God, sometimes what God will do, see, he'll let your enemy whip you so that he can cause you, it'll drive you back to him. Are you with me today? You think, oh, the devil's busy, the devil's busy. Well, really, you look up, a lot of times it's because you weren't obeying, and then the Lord will let the devil whip you so that you run back to him and you can be restored. You can be restored. So the people of Israel, we're talking about the book of Judges, Joshua had died. And now the people are kind of floundering around without a leader, kind of like how we as black people were when Martin Luther King died. And we started worrying more about our televisions and our VCRs and all this other stuff versus going to church. We all started having all these excuses. We got to go to the beach. We got to wash our car. We got to go on vacation. We got to do all this stuff instead of going to church. And the Lord said, well, since you put me down, I'm gonna put you down. I'm gonna let your enemy show up, and then you see how much you need. So the enemy showed up, and it got so bad. Listen to me. It got so bad. The enemy was called the Midianites, and it got so bad that the Midianites came and they took all Israel's crops and livestock. In other words, it was against the law for you to actually be reaping, harvesting your crops. Now, Gideon, he knew this, and he had this little sense of braveness in him, because he said, even though they tell me I can't reap my harvest, he said, I'm gonna go at night and do it. He said, I'm gonna go and do it. He said, because I gotta eat, So let's pick up this story and let's see where we're at. Let's pick up the story. Do we have a verse on this?